Hey y'all, what's up? I put some makeup on. Don't I look prettier? That's because I have to do an audition in between running around and walking all these dogs for my agent's commercial audition, but it's quick, due by 3 p.m. So while we're on the subject, we're going to talk about the craft of acting. The whole reason why I came to Hollywood. It's really hard to focus on your craft, okay? I fell in love with acting in New York City because I used to be a dancer, and I've always been into the arts and entertainment. I was a dancer. I love to dance. I went to an acting class in New York City with Jason Bennett, fell in love with it, started studying and learning the different techniques of acting, the Stella Adler technique. I worked in some plays. I worked on a lot of non-union TV shows for like the Discovery umbrella and the Travel Channel and things like that. Did local commercials and music videos and stuff like that. And then I came to Hollywood, and a lot of the reason why I came to Hollywood is because of Eric Morris, who's a brilliant world-renowned acting coach, because his technique is so laser focused and it's phenomenal. His acting technique is the best. There's all these other coaches out here, like the Meisner technique, Ivana Chubbuck. There's all these other, but Eric is the best. Eric is the best because he focuses on you and your instruments and getting ready to get ready, how to do rest and relaxation, like working on your instrument so that when you get to set, like you're in character and you're ready to go and you're focused and you know what the F you're doing. And the most important thing is being emotionally available, allowing yourself, knowing how to be emotionally available, knowing how to do what the director wants you to do at a drop of a hat. And that's why a lot of really good actors are unstable emotionally, because we have to be able to access those emotions at any second. And that's why Eric Morris is so good. Eric Morris is so good. There is a lot of technical things you need to learn about the craft of acting, about, you know, hitting your marks and things like that, and like a close-up shot and where to look and like things like that, technical things. But there's also like the technique of acting. And I just feel so blessed and so happy that I was able to come to Hollywood to study with Eric, because I love the craft of acting. I love the technique of acting. I fell in love with acting like I fell in love with dancing. And a lot of people just do it because they just want to get famous. They just want to get rich and famous. You know what I mean? That's not why I do it. That's not why I do it. I actually read it in a book one time about don't do acting if you just want to be rich and famous. Like, I never did. Like, I got started in the arts when I was younger, and I wish that I had the mental capability when I was younger to be able to pursue this as a career, but I just didn't, because my mind was, you have to have a very you have to have a certain mindset, you know, and mindset is important if you want to make it in this business, because it is a crazy business. You know what I mean? So it's insane. This business is insane. It's insane. So like, I have been since 2003. I started when I got the acting bug, was 2003. So it's been 20 years. 20 years it took me to land a decent role in an independent feature film. 20 years. Okay? So 20 years, because I love the craft of acting and I love the technique of acting, and I love Eric Morris's technique, because Eric Morris is so laser focused. Eric studied from all the great teachers, and he couldn't, Stanislavski, where acting rooted from, said the obligation of an actor is to experience what the character is experiencing as per author's intent. But nobody really explained how to Eric. So Eric was on a mission to find out how. And he had other mentors and actors that he was working with. I forgot who. He says Marty or somebody, I'm not sure. But then he started teaching. Eric started teaching because he couldn't find anybody else good to work with. He couldn't find any other coaches to work with, and he couldn't find the answers he wanted answered. So Eric is like 89 maybe 88, 89 now, maybe, probably, and he's still teaching classes online, and I should really look into it. I've been fortunate and been blessed to have come here in person to study with him, because I met him in New York City a long time ago in like 2006 with Jason, and I met him and I got his books and his autographs, and I just fell in love with his technique, because his technique made the most sense to me. Like Turbo, take a chill pill. What are you barking at? I'm going to get some dog walks. And so Eric's technique is so laser focused because he doesn't mess around. He gets right to the point. It's like, what's your obligation? Your obligation is to feel the need to what? Okay? And you always start with yourself. You start with yourself, your instrument. You start with yourself and get to a place of being for you, so you know how to be where your character is to be. And he's the best. His technique is just, Stella Adler was like, acting is doing. Acting is doing. I mean, they use, and Strasberg used, like, you know, emotional recall and stuff like that, but Eric Morris is the best. His technique is so laser focused, gets to the point, cuts through all the BS, and gets you where you need to be. And he teaches you how to be emotionally available out of a drop of a hat, so that you can make the choices that you need for the director. And theater, like, I studied theater in New York. Like, you used to have to go on set in theater and, like, create the whole scene for you, and, like, sense memory and all that stuff, like, you know? So I just feel so blessed and thankful that I got to study with Eric, and I really should look into it. And everybody's, you know, I feel like I want to get back into acting classes, because you can always learn more and stuff, but you can also learn on set. You can also, you know, learn on set, but, like, if you want to just continue to grow and get better, of course you should keep learning. My friend Kara, who's an agent over at CAA, I was so just down in the dumps, and she was like, you always have to work on your craft. And I've worked on my craft since like 2003, like 2006, when I started studying acting. When I started learning the Eric Morris technique, I was every single day asking myself, how do I feel? Every single day, how do I feel? Every single day. Since I started with the Eric Morris technique in like 2006, I have focused on my craft and the technique for 20 years, okay? Every day. And I finally now have an opportunity on this movie. I can't cry now because I'm doing a commercial audition, so that's really annoying. I don't want to cry right now. I don't want to redo my makeup. So, like, every day, and you just get so down in the dumps in this industry, because I've been cut out of things. I've been cut out of so many things, and people don't use you, and who knows why? I did a Lucky Strike cigarettes global print ad, and they're not even going to use. They spent all that money to produce a campaign, and they're not even doing anything with it. I did a music video. It was phenomenal. My performance was amazing, top notch. And they didn't even do anything with it. I should get that footage because it was so good. And they didn't even use it. They didn't do anything with it. I was cut out of an edible arrangements commercial. They decided not to use my part. Like, this industry is effed up. And it's effed up. And who knows why? Who knows why? It could be some stupid bullshit. We don't want to use her. She's too old. She's too ugly. She's too Christian. She's too, she doesn't agree with the same politics as me. Who the hell knows why? Who knows? But, like, I've wanted to jump off a bridge a million times because of this industry. But guess what? I love the craft of acting. I love it. I love Eric Morris's class. I love it. I feel blessed to be working on this movie, The Faithful Brethren of Pitt Street. 20 years. It took me 20 years to finally book a nice part in a nice movie. Okay, so I feel so blessed and so happy, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the craft of acting, the technique of acting, which is really, people just want to get rich and famous, so they don't even really care about that, the craft of acting, the technique of acting. And Eric has dedicated his entire life, and he's like almost 90 now. He's been teaching for 50, 60 years, and he couldn't figure out how to do certain things, so he figured it out. He figured out the answer to Stanislavski's question. How am I going to get there? How do I experience what the character is experiencing? How? He figured it out. And his technique, I just thank God. I thank God every day that I was so, I was able to work with him in person And, you know, I feel so blessed. And of course I want to keep learning. It's always good to keep learning and working on your craft. And Kara over at CAA told me, always keep working on your craft. And I just felt so down and in the dumps because I feel like I've been working on my craft every single day for 20 years. And I'm like, how much more do I have to do, right? So, but she's right. She said, even Meryl Streep, you know, even Meryl Streep, you know, so always be focusing on your craft. So, you know, and I just love it, and I feel blessed and so happy to be able to work on this movie. Oh, I turned down the wrong street. I feel so blessed and so happy to finally get an opportunity to work on this movie. So that's why I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I've worked so hard and I haven't had an opportunity like this. So I appreciate it and I have respect, and I've worked so hard. So like, and I love this production. I love this movie. I love everybody involved. And I feel just so happy and grateful for everyone there and the hard work that everybody's put in. And the DP was so sick yesterday. Tim was so sick yesterday, but he still showed up. He still showed up. And we had a long day yesterday and he didn't feel good and he was having muscle cramps. But Tim's awesome. The director's awesome. The producer's awesome. Everybody's awesome. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about like the craft of acting and the technique of acting, because that's what I do and that's what I love. And I just feel so fortunate to have learned from Eric Morris, and he's the best. He's the best. He's the best, you know, that's all I wanted to say. I gotta go walk some dogs. Bye.